Sheldon will introduce the mic. Go ahead.
All right, let me see if I can remember your script, Uncle Tree Shaker. Good to see you again, Mr. I Decide since Nashville. How are you?
Andrew, good to see you.
Good to see you. It was fun. Anyway, so good morning, everybody. I'm very, very excited um, about this morning. Every Wednesday, we try to put together a great information about tax credit or anything that related to tax. And today, um, we will introduce to you the program called eR3, okay? Enhanced Reinsurance Roth Retirement Plan. So that's what the eR3 stand for. So anyway, my name is Andrew Ang. I'm one of the partner with the team here. What we call is the uh, Black Swan Business Financial Group. Okay. That's is that right, Sheldon? So so with this, we have the CEO of IDSci design the presentation on the call, and we have the taxman, Stefan Brewer, was on, and obviously Craig Clemens with Irons on. So you guys, we got a very important program that we can help our clients. So um, now I'm going to introduce you one of my partner. Me and him was just kind of like meeting, met each other like what, more than a decade now. And like I keep telling, the only two people that I know of that read a lot of books is Elon Musk and this person, because he always send me all kind of book about tax, about saving, about plan, about life insurance, about private banking, about whole life, about IUL, on and on and on. And I learned a lot from him, and I'm glad that he is my partner and my great friend, great advisor. And he, by the way, he got every license in the book, got his MBA and Series 7, on and on. So, uh, lovely to introduce you, Mr. Sheldon Singleton, the Black Swan
All righty. Yeah.
advisor.
And in Orange County, people are getting to know me as Mr. Black Swan. So people laugh at that one because I just rebranded my business. It's called Black Swan Business and Financial Strategist. And hey, everybody, let me tell you something about this. This program is very exciting. When Stefan introduced it to me, I was confused at first. And then, here's what makes me different. They sent out the recordings, and I watched the recording over 8 times before I got back on the phone with Stefan. And then Craig and David and the group got on there and they explained it, and then it clicked in my mind and I got really excited about sharing this. And I want just to give you an example of what just happened to me last night. I go to a custom clothing place and I met this business owner, him and his wife, and they're very successful. Their gross revenues are 10 to $15 million a year. They have 15 different business, not 15, they got over 3 different businesses and opening more. And I mentioned the tax unicorn to them. And the reason I lead with tax unicorn is something what majority of people have never heard of before. And it creates a hook to get curiosity. So I started telling them about it. I said, how would you like to turn your business risk into a super funded tax-free retirement plan? And I got that from Stefan. And they said, what? I said, imagine, what if there was a strategy where you can incorporate make a Roth IRA tax deductible on the front end. You can fund it with unlimited amounts of money and then tax free on the back end. And the most beautiful thing, since we live here in California, is create another tax deduction for you, and it can be a risk mitigation tool. And the guy said, I like that. I want to find out more about it. And they called me, him and his wife called me on Monday, and they say, Sheldon, we want to go to dinner with you. And I went to dinner with them last night over here in Newport Beach. And the wife asked me a few questions. And Stefan, she says, we're interested. We're looking at our calendar. We want to look at this deeply. So what I'm sharing with you guys, and then I want to introduce you to Mike. This works. It generates interest, and very few people are doing this. And what I'd listened to this recording over 17 times, and then what Mike Boccia has done right here, because they say success leaves clues, and you want to make something duplicatable, because in a practice company, we heard about duplication. What Mike did is he's made this presentation very duplicatable, and then all we do is send it out, we have the conversations, and we refer them over to Stefan. So Mike, won't you go forth with this and just light us up, get us all excited about this, what you've done, and then you can share with, since you come from a financial background, what you learned about this, because what you like, what you see, because in your process and your strategies, your interactive customer experience, you can just bring it on. We're ready for you.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the opportunity. We're excited to be here with you guys. As you said, yeah, I actually, oops. Yeah. Did you guys see my screen okay? Should see the iDecide logo.
Yes.
Yep. Awesome. So yeah, I was in the industry for 18 years. So I was everything from a registered rep. I was a branch manager. I was an OSJ manager. I was Series 6, 63, 26, 65, life, health, mortgage, license. I mean, the whole 9 yards, right? And there were a couple of things that, I mean, after 18 years, I saw it all, right? I've been on very successful appointments where they go fantastic. I've been on crappy appointments where they look at me like I have three heads. I've been stood up on appointments. I've been, laughed at. But I also was one of the top people in the company, did all the company trips and awards and all that good stuff. So I know the industry very well. But I look back at that 18-year career, and you guys I did the math once, and I calculated that over that 18-year career, I had done over 25,000 presentations. And at one point, I just said, there's got to be a better way. And so I want to spend a couple of minutes with you, sharing with you the backstory of iDecide, the psychology behind it. And then we'll talk more about your presentation specifically and how to get access to it and so forth. But I think it's important that you understand the psychology behind it. So here's what happened. Here's how iDecide was created. After 18 years, I said, man, if I could just crack the code on a few things, it would change my business forever. Sheldon, you mentioned the first one, duplication, right? I want a brand new person to come on board and say, I can do this. And number one, you guys have a complex product, so that's going to be tough for them to do, right? And here's the double-edged sword of presenting. You may have Sheldon who does an unbelievable presentation, or Stan does an incredible presentation. A brand new person comes on board, they listen to you do the presentation, and they think, well, no wonder they're making money. I will never be able to do what they just did. Right? And that's what happened to me. I remember doing a presentation at one of my agents' homes, and on a Sunday afternoon, his whole family was there. And we did our presentation and asked questions, and it went great. And he's walking me to the door, and he's got this look of total defeat on his face. And I said, what's wrong? Didn't it go well? And he said, oh, yeah, it went great, but I will never be able to do what you just did. And I said, man, I need to create a more duplicatable system. So second one was compliance. You guys are also in a very highly regulated industry. So compliance is important, right? So it's one thing to be able to do it. It's another thing to be able to keep doing it, right? You may have a rep who's trying their best, not out of malice or malintent, but they're trying their best to do the presentation. But just because they're excited and they don't know all the information, they say things that aren't necessarily true. and they get the whole company shut down, right? Or worse, right? Maybe locked up. So third one is most important these days, the prospect's attention span. So here's the stat, you guys. 91% of people admit to daydreaming during a presentation. So that's a 91% admit to it. So it's probably closer to 100%, right? So I'm not stupid. I've lost some of you guys already, right? Some of you guys are scrolling through Facebook on your phone or checking your email while you're listening to me with only one ear. I'm not offended by it, but I need to be aware of it, right? Because it's going to affect my business. And last but definitely not least is time. I think about how many of those 25,000 presentations were spent on people who either weren't interested or flat out weren't qualified. Big deal when it comes to the eR3 program, right? Because, there are qualifications. So you don't want to spend half hour, 40 minutes explaining what the program's about. And they go, oh, well, I don't qualify for that anyway. And you go, oh, geez, just wasted all that time. So those are the things that I set out to crack the code on when I created iDecide. So I went back to the drawing board and said, okay, if I could reimagine presentations, what would I want them to be? Number one, I'd want them to be fun, so people actually enjoyed watching them. Two, professional and effective, so they represented my brand in the way that it should be represented, elevated the impression of my business in the eyes of the viewer. Need them to be short, right? We talked about that attention span. Need them to be smart. I need the data. Who's watching it? Which sections are they watching it? I need to know this stuff so I can improve it based on data. And we can keep getting it better. Duplicatable, we talked about that. So it's a great recruiting tool. Imagine somebody looking at your presentation and going, man, that's an awesome program. And all I have to do is click and send it. That is awesome. I can do that. And it's got to be automated, right? So your first appointment with somebody, imagine if it were not a, let me sit down and show you who we are and what we do, but the first time you met with them, they already know who you are, what you do, what the program does, and they've said, yes, I want to meet. That, by the way, changes the whole dynamic of that meeting, doesn't it? Right? It's a whole different meeting when I call you and say, hey, can I stop by and show you who we are and what we do, versus I know what you do and I want your time. So we've now changed the status of that meeting, and you are now in the power position, right? So that's how I came up with iDecide. For you guys that aren't familiar with it, it's a personalized, short, fully automated, multimedia, interactive presentation. Here's how it works. So you can send an iDecide any way you send a message, through text, email, Facebook Messenger, Telegram, WhatsApp. It doesn't matter. You can send it any way that you would send someone a message, or you can post it on social or on a website, a landing page. Prospect clicks that link and their screen comes to life, right? With graphics, animation, video, whatever's necessary to tell that story in the most engaging and intriguing way possible. But here's the cool part. This is the secret sauce, right? They get to interact with the screen. They answer questions. They choose what they're interested in seeing. And then they can schedule an appointment when they're done. So it puts them in control of the presentation. On your end, this is one of my two favorite features of iDecide, their notification. So you get a text or an email notification when they start to watch. You get another one when they finish. The one they finish tells you everything about it. So it tells you, in your case, are they a CPA, a financial advisor, which sections of the presentation they chose to see, tells you everything about the presentation. Now that follow-up is way different, isn't it? Now my follow-up is targeted based on what I know their hot buttons are. And because this is a people business, always will be, we're going to send you reminders to follow up with them every day after they watch, 3 days and 5 days. If you've already followed up, there's a button you click and it disables the future ones. That way you're not sending, getting bombarded with reminders with follow-ups you've already done. So that's what it is. What it is not is a video. This video is a 4-letter word here at the iDecide office. We like to say iDecide is what videos want to be when they grow up. So a couple of reasons I want to make sure you don't refer to it as a video. Number one, it's not a video. Technically, it's not a video. It's not an MP4 file, an MOV. You can't upload it to YouTube. Every iDecide presentation is a unique URL. So technically, it's not a video. More importantly, I don't want you to refer to it as a video because it diminishes the impression of the presentation in the eyes of the prospect. What does that mean? Well, I call Stefan and say, hey, Stefan, this is Mike. I started with that company I was telling you about. We're doing amazing things for business owners. I'm going to send you a video for you to watch. And what do they think? Another video. Everybody's sending me videos. That's all I do is watch videos. But if I call and say, hey, Stefan, this is Mike. I started with that company. We're doing unbelievable things for business owners. I'm going to create an interactive experience just for you. You're going to see it's going to have your name in it, but it's going to be interactive. So you're going to get to choose what you want to see. You'll get to click your screen. You're going to have a blast learning about it, and then we'll talk afterwards. See ya. Now he goes, what the heck is an interactive experience with my name in it? What? Now, as soon as I send that, he's going to click it, right? So I've elevated the impression of it in his eyes. And bottom line, the third reason is videos just can't do what we can do. We can show the viewer's location. We do that in your presentation. Shows the city and state that they're in. Why? We got to keep their attention. You see, here's the deal, you guys. It doesn't matter how good the eR3 program is if we can't keep their attention long enough to learn about it, right? So the real competition here is not another company, another comp plan, another this, another that. It's the attention span of the prospect. So we do all kind of cool things to keep them engaged. We can do calculations in there. So one of the edits we're doing in your presentation is adding a calculator into it so that they can see what their possible savings are just by answering a few questions right in the presentation. It'll show them. They can schedule appointments right in the presentation. Videos can't do these things. We show the date and the time that they're watching. Now they go, what is this? This is not a video. I've never seen someone show me the date and time that says, hey, your life's about to change right this second, boom. And we always put their name in it. Why? That's been proven to increase engagement threefold. Just by seeing or hearing our name releases the feel-good chemicals in our brain, and now we're more engaged, right? So videos can't do any of this stuff. So again, I won't beat this dead horse, but don't call it a video, all right? Especially when you're talking to me about it, don't ever call it a video. All right, here's some of the feedback that we've gotten from our clients. The best marketing tool I've ever worked with. We get that all the time. It saves me so much time. It does that first appointment for me. It's exactly what it's intended to do. This gentleman is out of Toronto. He said he got 2 appointments from a social media post within 15 minutes of posting. Yeah, right now, you guys, we're in 94 countries. I think it's 24 languages now. We're in our 8th year in business, and over 8 million iDecides have been viewed, which means on average, over the last 8 years, an iDecide has been watched somewhere in the world every 30 seconds. So I say this not to impress you, but to impress upon you that we're not experimenting with you guys. We're not using you as the guinea pig. This isn't a beta test. We've been doing this for a long time. We know it works. And I just want you to have the confidence in the system that you should have. So, all right. I'm imagining some of you guys haven't seen your presentation yet. So I'm going to go through it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, of course, because you can do that yourself. But I want to point out certain key features to it as we go through it. All right. I'm hoping when I click the share button, I enabled the sound. So let me know if you guys can hear the sound as we go through this. Maybe just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All right, so you send this presentation to John. He clicks the link. First thing he sees is his name, 3X engagement, right? Your name appears right below it, so he knows how to contact you. As the presentation begins, your name is on screen throughout in the lower left-hand corner, so John always knows how to reach you in case he has questions. You click to begin, boom.
Hello, and welcome to this short presentation.
You hear the sound,
It's going to be
Andrew?
interactive, so you'll be asked to click your screen from time to time to see only what you're
Yes, but we can't see
no matter
anything.
where you are in the world.
You what?
We believe you may one day look back at this.
You're not sharing your screen.
All right. I did share the screen, but I guess I didn't share the right. Try that again.
But you did the sound. That's half of your batting 500.
And I own a technology company, right? And it's asking me for a password. All right. How's that? Better?
Yeah.
Good. All right. All right. I'm going to start it for you guys. All right. So now you see what I was seeing. John's name is on the screen. And your name is on the screen here throughout. Okay.
Hello, and welcome to this short presentation. It's going to be interactive, so you'll be asked to click your screen from time to time to see only what you're interested in seeing. And no matter where you are in the world, we believe you may one day look back at this very moment as a turning point in your life, because what you're about to see could turn your business risk into a long-term, super-funded, tax-free retirement plan. Introducing the eR3 plan, a strategy that lets business owners turn underinsured risk into tax-deductible premiums and grow that money tax-free inside a retirement account they control. More on that later. But before we dive in, let's tailor this experience specifically to you. Which of these best describes you? Perfect. You're about to see how the eR3 plan can expand your offerings, help your clients protect their assets, and create lasting value. So let's get started. Here's where you choose where you want to go. Click the topic you'd like to explore, then finish up when you're ready.
So you guys, this hamburger menu in the top right puts them in total control the entire time. They can go to the main menu. If they've seen enough, they can schedule a call right then. Of course, they can go backward, forward, pause, turn the music on or off. They're in total control the whole time. So I skipped the first part, went to the main menu, but these are all the different sections your prospects will be able to choose from. And once we finish the updates, there'll be another tile in here that says, see exactly what my numbers could be. And they'll click that and they'll go to that short calculator so they'll see for themselves what the possible outcomes could be for them. So again, I won't go through the whole thing, but again, they finish up. At the end of the finish up section, there's a place for them to schedule a call. That will also tell them, choose a date and time, and you'll contact them to confirm. So this will go to your Calendly. They'll schedule an appointment with you. Then you'll check to make sure that that date and time is available, with Stefan, and then you'll confirm that with the client. So everything is in here. You guys click and send. I'll go through one of these sections just so you can see it, and then we'll finish up.
Great. A private insurance company is exactly what it sounds like. An insurance company owned by you, not a third party. In this $800 billion industry, private insurance companies are formed to cover uninsured and underinsured risk that traditional P&C insurance policies don't adequately cover, while giving you control of the relative premium. It's designed to cover self-insurable risks that could occur, and if the policy is needed to cover an insured risk, the net premium is available to pay any claims. However, if no claims are made, the net premium becomes net profit to the private insurance company, which is then paid as a dividend at the end of the policy term. And since the private insurance company is owned by your Roth retirement account, the dividend is not taxable and can be reinvested by your Roth retirement account in your sole discretion in other investments, which can be distributed to you after age 59 and a half, tax-free. For businesses doing at least $500,000 in annual gross revenue, this structure opens the door to a powerful combination of risk mitigation and long-term wealth accumulation and transfer. Here's how it works. Your business pays premiums to the private insurance company. Go ahead and choose another topic to learn about. If you're ready to see how the eR3 plan could work for your business, here are the next steps. Step 1. Initial feasibility conversation. Initial conversation to determine...
All right. So again, I won't go through the whole thing with you, but just so you see, it's dialed in. That presentation is great. It's impressive. So let's get back to this and we'll wrap this up, show you how to get it if you're interested. All right. Do you see my screen again? Yep. All right. Good deal. All right. So remember I said this was one of my favorite features of iDecide, the notifications. So once John starts to watch it, you'll get a notification. John just started to watch, and it'll tell you which presentation he started to watch, because eventually you guys may have more than one in there. So it'll tell you which one he watched. Remember that section where it asked if he's a CPA, financial advisor, it'll tell you which one he chose or she chose, right? Because now you know who you're talking to. Tells you which sections they chose to see. This is gold right here, you guys. Now you know what they're interested in, what their hot buttons are, and it'll tell you what their final outcome was. They chose to schedule a call. Go ahead and give them a call to follow up. So that's one of my favorite features in there. I'll tell you about the other one in a second. So bottom line, what we did was we created instant duplication, as you can see, with a click and send system that's fully compliant, 100% compliant, because it's all been approved. The reps can't change it. The only thing that changes in the presentation is the rep's name and email address. Everything else stays the same and is controlled by the company. Fully engaged prospects, because they have to be engaged, with zero risk of rejection. You guys, this happened to me so many times in my 18 years. I'd hire on great people, bring them on board, and then all of a sudden they enter the witness protection program and they're gone. I don't know what happened to them, right? What happened was they got rejected when nobody was around. They didn't like how it felt and they left. Now there's zero chance of rejection. So here's how to get it. I decided is a subscription, and a subscription includes everything. You guys, I don't nickel and dime people. It's never been my deal. I hate that when subscriptions, say, well, yeah, you get this, but then you got to upgrade to get this. It includes all I Decide presentations. Send as many as you want. All future presentations are included as well. So if once new presentations are added by Alliance, they'll be in here automatically. Any languages that they develop, they're thrown in your account, also included. Use it as much as you like. I don't know if you noticed, but I said earlier, you can choose text or email notifications. We don't even charge extra for text notifications. You can choose text notifications on every single presentation, and we send 5, right? One when they watch, one when they finish, 1, 3, and 5-day reminders. You could send 1,000 presentations with 5 text reminders each. You'll never get an email from us saying, hey, you got to upgrade your bundle or something. Everything is included. Use it on the web, any device, or the free iDecide app, which is killer. You can send a presentation in 4 clicks on the app. Awesome. And we give you a couple of days to try it and see, make sure you like it. If you don't, just send us an email. We'll cancel your account and give you your money back. Here's how to get it. You can scan the QR code on your screen, or you can go to getidecide.com/alliance. The price, I've been told, is ridiculously cheap for the financial services industry. These are actually just raised. We raised our prices for the first time in 8 years. So it's $30 a month now, $199 a year, $299 lifetime. But for you guys, we're doing a special for the next 3 days, 72-hour special. So instead of paying $249 or $299 for the lifetime, you're going to get it for $199. Never pay again. Everything's included, you guys. So it is, I mean, if you look at the ROI on this investment, it's kind of silly. If you get 1 new client ever as a result of iDecide, I mean, well, I don't know, you 50x your investment or something like that. And if you have any questions, we're here for you. We're not going to just sell you something and then leave you to figure it out. We do trainings every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern. And they're at idecidetraining.com. They're general training, so we don't talk about any specific companies. We just talk about how to use iDecide, best practices, answer any questions you might have. And again, if you have any questions at all, reach out to us at hi@idecide.com. Our policy there is to return every email within 24 hours. Typically, it's much sooner than that, but we guarantee less than 24. All right, I am ready to take any questions if you'd like, Stan or Andrew or wherever you'd
Looks like, yep, it looks like Dave already has his hand up. You just got a heart from Frank Sullivan. Frank's been in the business for a long time. We're buddies with Mike Hinsbark. So anyhow, he gave you a thumbs up and a heart. Dave, why don't you ask your question to Mr. Botcha? He's ready.
I'm already subscribed to iDecide through a different group. Would
Yep.
that already put me in line for this, or do I have to have a second subscription?
No, don't buy a second subscription. Just email hi@idecide.com. Tell them you already have a subscription. You want to add the Alliance presentation, and they'll walk you through it.
You just gave me chills.
Good, good. Awesome. Anybody else?
Our crowd's a little shy sometimes. Then I'm getting ready to shut it off. Oh, we have a question. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, I have a question. This is Craig.
Here we go.
On the CRM, do we use yours or does that fold into ours?
The CRM, is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
We have a contact list in the iDecide back office. So it's not a full CRM, but it's a place for you to just look in one simple space. You'll see the status of all your presentations. But you can also integrate it into any CRM. So we have a Zapier integration. So if you want to integrate it into anything, just about everything integrates with Zapier these days.
Yes.
We also have a direct integration with Go High Level. So no Zapier required there. You can just email us. They'll set you up as long as you have a high level agency account. You can run it all right through your high level account.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're going to need to add more names. You'll see, once you integrate it, you'll see next to all the names in your contact list, a little airplane. You just click the button and it'll send them an IDIS.
So we can set it from our own private CRM to you, so no entering the contact information twice.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, and then back the other way too. Okay.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that, especially with high level, because of our direct integration, we have high level has those automated sequences that you can send out, like follow-up campaigns. The cool thing about that integration is, for example, if they click that they're a CPA in the presentation, you can make it so that that triggers a CPA email sequence. That's more focused to CPA's language and information they'd be interested in and so forth. So you can do cool things with the automations based on choices made in the presentation.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end, when it says I want to go forward, does that not go to the calendar of Stefan or Stan or somebody other than me?
Yeah, we talked about doing that, but then there would be no way to track who that client came from. So the decision was made to have it go to you so that you can then confirm that in Stefan's calendar and then confirm it with the client. That way you're in the loop. Stefan knows who the client came from. There's no mix up of, hey, that was my customer. Well, they didn't mention that on the call. So we had no way of tracking it to you. So that was
okay.
The decision that was made. And we may change in the future,
I apologize for moving my key light. Looks like I'm burning up here.
It's all right.
Okay.
Nice tan. You got a good color.
Thank you very much.
Also, that brings up another point. I said that may change in the future. We'll see how it goes, what's working, what's not working. We could always make changes to it. My second favorite feature that I mentioned that I said there were two. My second one is real-time updates. So you guys will have access to an analytics panel in your back office, your iDecide back office. Stefan has access to the overarching analytics, so they can see everything about the presentation, how many were sent total, how many were open, what the close rate is, what parts are people choosing to watch, which parts don't they care about. But they can see the abandonment like to the second. So, in their panel, it might say, 12% of the people are abandoning here. They could click a button and hear the voiceover that's playing when they abandon. Why is that important? Well, now we can maybe massage that language a little bit, change it, take it out altogether, improve the presentation. When that's done, those updates are done in real time. So you don't ever have to worry about, man, I just sent 15 presentations yesterday. Now they updated it today. I got to resend it. Nope. Even if someone watched the presentation already, after changes are made, if they click that same link you sent them, they'll see the most updated presentation in real time. So it's 100% compliant, 100% of the time, and will constantly improve the performance and conversion of the presentation. That to me is awesome, especially from a regulatory standpoint, a compliance standpoint.
When's the eR3 new one going to be available? You said you're working on it.
Yeah, probably by the end of the day. I mean, there are very minor changes to it. The biggest one is the addition of the calculator. But yeah, that'll be done probably by end of day. My team's working on it now.
Will we have a chance to see that?
Oh yeah, yeah, easy.
How can we see that?
Well, everybody at Alliance will have a copy of it. They can send it to you.
Okay, so is somebody on the call here going to send it to us? Stan, you're going to make that available, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'll make sure that I'll let
As soon as we
Stan
see it, yeah, I'll send it. Joe's one of my fellas. I'll get it right out to you, Joe, as soon as we got it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. All right. Anything else? All right, you guys, like I said, the special price is up there for 3 days. I mean, not like it's a big deal. It's a few dollars off, but I mean, every little bit helps, right? But even at $300 lifetime, it's ridiculous. The price is just insanely cheap, considering your industry. We work with like Mary Kay Cosmetics, for example. Their reps sell a lipstick, they make $10, right? So $300 is an investment for them. Their ROI is not that great. For you guys in the financial industry, it's kind of silly. The ROI is ridiculous.
I think we have another question, Mike. It looks like Jackie had a question. I see her hands up. Go ahead, Jackie. Yep, you had your hand up. I think you did.
Thanks so much. Sorry about that. I was struggling to unmute. Can we, if you
No
don't
problem.
mind, can we see the place where you actually just choose to make your appointment? Can we, if you don't mind? I just was curious to see how that looks.
Well, that'll go straight to your Calendly. So when you sign up for iDecide, it'll ask for your Calendly or whatever appointment setting application you use. It doesn't have to be Calendly, it could be anything. And then when they click to schedule a call at the end, it goes straight to your scheduler. Is that what you're asking, Jackie? You're muted again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yep. Okay, good.
Yeah, so it'll just literally populate your calendar. So they're making an appointment with you to have that conversation. So it's just, did you have any questions? You're ready to get started. And then what'll happen is you'll have access to my Calendly, and then you can just find a hole on my Calendly and make an appointment for them.
Question, when we go to sign up, is it going to automatically put us into the 199? Because I'm in the back office and I'm back there and it's asking me which program I want and those type of things. What do I need to do?
Are you at idecide.com or getidecide.com/alliance?
idecide.com/
Yes. You'll want to go to getidecide.com/alliance. And you'll only see two options there. You can still do the monthly if you want to. So you'll see the monthly and the lifetime special there.
That'd be crazy to do monthly. Okay, thanks.
Got it.
Looks like Dave has another question. Go ahead, Dave.
How do we get Stefan's Calendly?
So I'll send you a link, or Stan will. I'll send you a link that'll have access to my Calendly just for this campaign. So there won't be any questions about what campaign.
Okay, very cool. Any last questions? We appreciate Mike coming on here. So we think that we're going to have this. You think by the end of the week and possibly by the end of today? Is that correct, Mike?
Yeah. The calculator is a pretty simple one, so yeah, it should be done by the end of the day. Yeah. And like I said, any questions, you guys don't email Alliance about any iDecide questions. We don't want to try and turn them into our customer service people, and they won't know the answers anyway. So just email us if you have any questions, and we'll get back to you right away, you guys. I'm excited for this because it's we deal with a lot of financial companies. We do thousands and thousands of financial subscribers, but none of them. And typically we see the same thing. We're doing infinite banking. We're doing this. We do that. I've never seen 8 years we've been doing this. I've never seen a product like this. So we're excited for what you guys are doing and how we can make an impact. I'm excited about that. Awesome stuff, you guys. Appreciate being a part of it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mike. We appreciate, having you on the team. I'm going to bug you here and there, for different people and maybe ask you for a few suggestions of who we should talk to, because we're going to try to bring this out into the marketplace, and we appreciate your insight always. So very good. We're going to just open it up, I think now for questions about the program itself. If anybody has anything that they'd like to get a little bit of an idea on how things work and so forth. We've had a chance to see, the presentation is absolutely unbelievable. And what I want to do now is just take a look at, what is it that we say when we're going to send this out? Mike, you can basically give us some ideas on this. Okay, we're going to send in an invite. Can you give our folks just a little bit of a feeling of what should they say in the email, when they send it to somebody? Let's say it's a cold prospect. What would you say?
Yeah. So, I for 100% use your own voice, right? You know, I'm a fan of scripts, but I don't like when scripts are used when they don't sound anything like you. Then people can tell they're scripts, that they're not authentic. But we've reached out to some of our power users. I have my team reach out all the time to kind of get the pulse of the users. And the biggest thing we're finding, people that are having success with it, they're not sending the presentation on the first exchange of dialogue. They're starting that dialogue first
Right.
and then sending the presentation. You know, we get people who just spam presentations out and they wonder why it's not working. So no one's going to click a random link that you send somebody, right? So start that dialogue first, tease them a little bit about what you have, and then, you know, say, hey, you know what, if I created an interactive experience just for you, you'll see it has your name in it, but it'll be interactive, so you'll get to choose what you want. Would you watch it? Is that something you'd be interested in? Then when they say yes, then send the presentation and let it do its job. But don't try and shortchange it by just spamming presentations out there. It's awesome, but it's not a magic bullet, right? So don't use it that way.
I like the analogy. You know, we've done a lot of work with Mike Hinsbach. A lot of the people on the call know who Mike is. We've worked in other projects. He likes to use the analogy that when you're, you know, talking to people like I'm, you know, making contacts on LinkedIn, and he says, you know, you don't just take a hamburger out of the freezer and eat it. You got to thaw it out and cook it first. So there you go. We have to thaw it out a little bit. I'm basically having conversations with people, thanking them for joining my network, telling them, listen, if I can do anything, make an introduction, please feel free. I'm not whacking them right away with what we got going on. So those are excellent suggestions, you know, and very good, you know, advice. So it's pretty simple on, you know, what we're going to do. Sheldon has a wonderful script. He gets everybody like, what the hell is a tax unicorn? Have you heard about the tax unicorn? We like that because then people are like, no, I haven't heard about a tax unicorn. We love that part of it. You know, that's pretty cool, you know, for sure. And I don't know if anybody, we've got Stefan on here. Frank, you had a question, I think, for Stefan. You were asking, I think, about a couple of things. If you wanted to unmute a minute and just ask him, I think you had some Roth questions.
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind, go ahead.
Okay. Two questions keep coming up with CPAs and attorneys. Number one is, how can you do that initial funding? How can you put like $100,000 into a brand new Roth?
You can do it as a solo Roth, so you can do it out of a sole proprietorship, or you can do it out of a Roth 401k as well, but there's participation rules in regards to what the other employees are doing. But to circumvent that, I shouldn't say circumvent, but to have more straightforward, you can do it as a solo Roth 401k out of a sole proprietorship. So it takes about $135,000 of profit in a sole proprietorship to get you into $50,000 of a Roth 401k, which is what we need to get started.
So there are no limitations. They don't have the rules. You can only put in so much, 25% of your income or something like that.
There are rules in regards to getting the money into the Roth in the first place, and that's where we come up with that. So the 135 is a combination of two different contributions. So the matching plus the original contribution, that gets you to $50,000 on a net profit of a sole proprietorship of 135.
Oh, okay. So if it's where they're making $1 million a year profit with the company, they can put in the 100,000 with no problem.
Well, it's a couple different ways to get there. If they have a Roth 401k in their business and their employees are participating, so because you got to deal with the participation rules. So if they can't do it out of their own company because no other employees are participating, then what we have to do is we have to do it out of a sole proprietorship, which means we're going to have to essentially issue a 1099 over a sole proprietorship, have some income over there, and do the solo Roth 401k over there. So, there's a price for it, and we've got to deal with some self-employment taxes to get there. But if that's the goal and the math all works in regards to what potentially could be saved, you're still going to be a good return on investment.
Right. No, the question is always just around the mechanics.
Yeah, so just
even in a sole proprietorship, how can I just dump 100,000 into it?
yeah, if you're a sole proprietor, that's how you get there. You do it with a solo Roth 401k.
Yep,
Okay.
and I'm going to ask Craig just to hop in here a minute because he's the master at the front end. So, Craig, why don't you hop in a minute? Frank's question, okay, is basically the mechanics of the process. So you can just talk about the front end quick, and then we'll on to the master of the back end.
Sure. The beauty, the genius of this, Frank, I believe you asked the question, is that we're marrying two platforms that are, centuries old and in the tax code, et cetera, and so forth. I mean, private insurance is $1 trillion business. I think, the Oracle of Omaha in Nebraska, right? Warren Buffett. He owns Geico and he owns private insurance companies. So he's worth 150 billion. So on the front end, you say, how much can I put in? Well, we took the stance of actuarially determining the risk of each of our clients. So the actuary does two things using actuarial science. He looks at their financials, let's say they're doing $10 million, and he looks at their current property and casualty coverage because we're not going to duplicate coverage. That would be illegal and immoral. So we're going to do a risk assessment using a third-party licensed actuary to say, this guy's doing $10 million. He lives in Austin, Texas. His risk profile is $1 million, 10% of the $10 million top line revenue. Well, technically, he can remit, but if that becomes the policy, if that risk profile equals $1 million, 10% of top line revenue, technically that's what he can remit as premium into this structure. That's why we're getting around the cap on Roth traditional. I mean, they put a cap on that. Well, now it's more measured and validated by what? Risk, actually based risk. So that's the big game changer.
Yeah,
Dave,
so don't
anything you want to add to that? Or Stephanie, you want to add to that?
So don't get the two parts confused. So one is, how do we get a Roth set up in the first place to get $50,000 in a Roth? That's a different question than how much can we fund into the Roth once the Roth is in existence and it's purchased the shares in the private insurance company. That's a totally different question because when the money comes over from the private insurance company as a profit, that is not a contribution. That's just a revenue. That's a dividend. There's no restriction on that. That's a totally different question than how do I get the Roth set up in the first place and get it funded with $50,000?
I understand it's a different question, and that was not the question that I was trying to get an answer to. I was trying to get the answer to how can a guy just set up a sole Roth and put 100,000 in it? What rules just allow you to not have to do the normal amount limits for putting the initial funding into a Roth? What rules allow you to just start off with your first contribution of $100,000? The funding of the Roth.
Right. That's doing it through the solo Roth 401k rather than just an individual Roth 401k.
Yeah, I understand that. So a solo Roth has no limitations on how much you put in initially?
It does have limitations. Those limitations are based on the net profit of the sole proprietorship. So there's two parts. There's the contribution and there's the match.
Okay, so it's not like a 25% of the profit or anything.
It is. It is tied to the profit. So there will be it's capping because of the profit of the business. So you're going to find that it's, business. That's why I said, if you want to do the math on how to get to $50,000, it would take $35,000 of net profit in a sole proprietorship to give you $50,000 contribution. It's the combination of the initial contribution plus the business match.
Next question. How do you get the distribution out with avoiding the 5-year rule that would make it taxable for anything you take out in the first 5 years.
So the 5-year rule comes into effect when you're talking about distribution prior to 59 and a half. So those are all the same the rules that apply to a Roth. You've got to deal with basis, and now you're looking at what basis is, and compared to, how much of it is your contribution, how much of it is profit. So yeah, if you were to pull it out in the first 5 years and you weren't 59 and a half, there would be some price to pay. Yes.
I understand there's a 10% penalty, but there's also taxes due.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you take money out of a Roth in the first 5 years and you're over 59 and a half, you owe taxes on it. So you've lost the advantage of being in a Roth, unless you've got a way to get around that.
Meaning 5 years prior to 59 and a half?
No. Anytime you take money out of a Roth within 5 years, there you have to pay the taxes on it. If you're under 59 and a half,
Agreed.
You have a 10% penalty, but if you're over 59 and a half, the penalty is gone. But I don't understand, or, I've been, how you can have a 60-year-old person put, set it up, get the big chunk of money coming from the business in there through the dividend, and how can he then withdraw that within 5 years without paying the taxes that are due? Unless, I'm wondering what kind of rule we have that allows us to not pay taxes on the early withdrawal of a Roth.
And what I would suggest on that is probably what we should do is carve out a little bit of time on one of these webinars, and David and I can go through that individually, because that's a longer question for sure.
Okay. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your help.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing that. Remember our special CPA series, where we're going to call it In the Weeds with the tax man, in the weeds, really getting into that, because that's going to be really, Frank is very astute, and it's good to know if you really want to get into the weeds and have that knowledge. We talked about maybe when we were going to do that, but we're going to ask people basically to start inviting some CPAs and other tax professionals onto the call that we're going to do basically at noon Pacific. We were contemplating doing it today, but we wanted Mike to come on. We wanted everybody to see this, and we didn't really necessarily want everybody else to come on to the meeting. But we're going to get ready to start doing those CPA special meetings after our regular consultant meeting. The other thing that we're working on, okay, Craig, I'm going to pick on you. Are you ready? I'm picking on you, okay? We're going to be looking at offering CPE credits to CPAs to come on it, okay? Basically, not so much for what we're doing, but just a series of private insurance, 831As and so forth. Craig is going to reach out to his network to basically see if we can find somebody that is accredited to be able to offer these. So we want to give a little bit. We're going to dangle a few more carrots in front of those CPAs, not just that it's interesting. So we'll get that information happening. So we'll probably start doing the CPA meetings down in the weeds either next week. I'll have conversations with everybody, see what they think. And we're going to probably set some stuff up maybe like a few times a month for business owners. But I want everybody's input on when they think that we should do that, in evening or daytime. We'll probably do them like twice a month. And remember, this is basically a company for consultants that was designed by consultants. Okay. And,
And just going forward, so what he's referring to is the requirement. So there's two parts to that requirement at 59 and a half. And when I discuss that in the same year, I kind of make an assumption that this Roth 401k has been around for a while. So in the future, I'll make sure that to give that caveat at 59 and a half, you still also have to have had that Roth for 5 years without getting into some complications.
Thank you.
Okie doke. I think we had really good meeting. Oh my goodness! Usually we have lots of questions. We wanted to give Mike some time to really go over it. We didn't really want to get into, as we say, into the weeds. The only thing that we need to know is that iDecide is going to be done very soon. We love perking people's interest up. You heard what Sheldon does with the tax unicorn, and have you heard about it? And then no, we haven't. So
Yeah.
we'll come up with some verbiage for when we have the iDecide ready to go. I'll get it out to everybody. If you're on the meeting today, chances are I've got your information. I'll get it out, or your team members will. And that's pretty much it.
Hey, Stan, I got a question
Yeah, please go right ahead, Joe.
for Stefan. So I think most of the people I'm going to be dealing with, these guys have their own businesses and they're regular corporations. And if their corporation doesn't offer Roth IRAs or IRAs to the employees, they have to set up their own solo Roth or
Yeah, and the way around that is we've got to have some sole proprietor income to make that happen. So yeah, because if they're Roth, if they have an existing Roth 401k, but none of the employees contribute to it, then we're restricted. The owner can't either. So we've got to find a way around that. And that's the most likely way to solve that problem.
But if they don't have any, and he doesn't have any,
he doesn't even have a Roth 401k?
no.
Okay,
No.
then that's the way around it, because if we don't have one, then that's the way to solve that problem is we've got to kick out some money. So if you do the math, the 135,000 of sole proprietor income is how you get to a solo Roth 401k with $50,000 in it.
And then they put the 50 grand in, but you were just saying.
Then they buy the preferred shares in the private insurance company with that.
Okay, and if they do that the year before they turn 59 and a half, after they turn 59 and a half, they can get the money, or they got to wait this 5 years you're talking about.
If it was just set up, and I'm going to start adding that on because that is a complication. You've got to have an existing account for 5 years to avoid getting into some complications. So if it's seasoned 5 years and you're 59 and a half, then it's tax free.
But if you just set it up and you're 58 and a half, now you got to wait 5 years.
Yeah, you've got some complications.
Didn't hear that before.
Yeah. If you got some complications that we have to deal with, and we can discuss it. That gets more complicated, and what we can probably do is take a little bit, just plan one of these times, just plan at the end of this process to educate a little bit more. So and those restrictions and the caveats and how to deal with that, and So David,
because that's not what I assumed before, and that changes everything.
Yes, and that's my mistakes when I'm talking about that. If somebody's asking me if they're already 60, I kind of make an assumption it's 60, and that account's been around for at least 5 years. It's been around a while, and I should have put that caveat in there saying, okay, now I should have asked the next question: how long has the account been around?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I actually just had a conversation with a young man. He wants to set up something. Everything will be new. This is a fresh corporation. He has an existing corporation, and he wants to set up something also for his employees. So I'm assuming that is something that we can help him set up and actually just implement it to where he can participate in this program.
We can help him point him in the right direction. Since the account doesn't exist, then that person's going to have to go the route that I just suggested.
Okay.
So they've got to since that's going to be a brand new account, no one's contributed to it yet. That's not going to be a Roth 401k. That's going to end up having to be a solo Roth 401k.
Thanks.
Okay, do we have any other questions? We're happy to answer if we do. If not, I'm going to ask Andrew to stop the recording, and we'll get ready to, I'll send the recording out. I'm going to wait just to get our new iDecide, and I'll send out a sample for everybody to take a look at. I recommend that you take advantage of Mike's special pricing that he did. It's pretty cool. And we'll call it a wrap for this week, and I'll get some stuff out to everybody. We're excited. You heard what Mike Boccia had to say. He looks at thousands of presentations. He's looked at hundreds of companies. You heard what he said. This is the first time in 8 years he's seen something different. Okay? So that should definitely turn everybody on. And I had this conversation with him already, so I already knew it, but now you heard him say it. Okay? Right on our meeting. Okay, Andrew, I guess if you want to wrap it up, you can close up the meeting and stop the recording.
All right. Yes, I'm absolutely excited. I'm gonna get the package. So, you know, so I decide to do the presentation for us. So thank you, everyone, and make it a great day. All
Thank
right.
you.